Yeah, so we back with another one. Once again, the guy with the bucket hat. Blue is our city. Who we talking about? These guys. City. So, I've been thinking, international break, what we really gonna talk about. So I'm like, how are we feeling about this season? Thinking about our goals, asking one question and one question only to you, the viewers, but also to Pep Guardiola, the club, the players. If you guys can win one thing this year, what would it be? The Premier League, the Champions League, or in combination, because let's just face it, one would not do the FA Cup as well as the League Cup. You had to pick only one. You couldn't have both of them. What would you want to see? I've been thinking about what I want to see, but the goal is to figure out what you guys want, but also what does Pep want? So the question to be asked today is, Pep, what's your plan? What are we going to do? So as I've been looking over it, before we go into what we want, right? The season's already started. Let's take a look at where we're at. So last time I checked, what, 10th in the table, 7 games played. We do have a game in hand though. We do have a game in hand, which is good. You know, last five. See, I got stuff right here on the side. You can see I'm a newbie, so I'm learning to remember all of this stuff. But 3 wins, 3 draws, 1 loss, I believe. 1 loss. So I'm thinking to myself, what's going on with us this year? What are we seeing? There's a combination of factors that have been going on, which is injuries. We seem to be better defensively. We're obviously not scoring enough, but also what is our plan going forward? Who are going to be our starters, guaranteed starters? So that's the question we're going to be looking at today. So when I think about it, let's talk, like I said, where we're at this season. We obviously have not, started the season as most of us would like. I think if you go back, and I'm thinking about the last 6 years at least, there were stretches in the last 6 years where it felt like we automatically, at least for four seasons, it felt like. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's what you guys are there for. We're talking about this as a community. I think we won like 10 games in a row for like the last 4 years or something like that. It always felt like coming out the gates we were strong. This year we're not strong, right? So we have to look at why is it that we're not strong. So when I think about it, then I start there. We have to talk about the fact that the players, their bodies had just that gone through an adjustment that they've never been used to before. For instance, when the world stopped due to funky time, it was like, bro, what are these players doing? Obviously, they had like 3 months. Sorry, I'm just gonna be sipping some tea while I talk, but they had 3 months supposedly off, right? When you're dealing with that, stopping your normal routine, it's definitely going to change your vibe. It's not going to be like fluid like you've normally been used to, especially when we talk about professional athletes. They are used to doing something for like 18 years. So the players had never gone through this before after coming off a rigorous season. So they stop and they're playing that season, they stop, and then now it's full fledged with the end of the previous season or however we choose to conclude that. We go to the Champions League. We obviously know we're out of the Champions League due to Leon, but we're wrapping up the Premier League. So then we got like what, 2 months off or 3 months off. It felt like it was no time off. I don't care what nobody says. It felt like it was no time off. Now you can, like I said, go back to the fact that they had 3 months off, right? But whatever. It just felt like they had no time off. So obviously our players are coming into it with a different mindset. And then also let's just be respectful of one thing. Pep went through a lot of stuff himself. These are things that I don't even want to speak on. I wish that upon nobody, and we're hoping that, he's not still feeling with that and dealing with that. As a community, we want to definitely uplift him and be there any way we can, but we can't ignore the fact that he just lost a loved one. You know what I mean? So maybe he's in a different space. So now the season starts, like I said, we're playing, we're in 10th position, we play 7 games. Ideally, we're not coming out the blocks the way that we used to come out the blocks. So it just looks different to us on so many different levels. So what is the plan? Because when I look at the team, I'm like, bro, obviously, like I said, the players had never been going to used to that. So now the season starts, we got to deal with injuries, bro. players wasn't ready, bro. We just didn't have the lineups that we could, so that played a factor into why we're just not, starting the way that we normally have been used to starting. What's the other point? The other point could be the fact that it does look like and appear to me that we are more stable defensively this time. And that's due to obviously Diaz and Laporte being there, but you got to look at it. Laporte hasn't been there for like at least 2 or 3 games or something like that. He's been out injured too. Stones even played a game, so we haven't been consistent there. But Ruben Diaz has been there to try to build upon those foundations and lay that groundwork for us to go forward. And I think that there's some stability there, right? So we have been more sound defensively, if you think about it. We are much more sound defensively. Or are we seeing a pragmatic Pep Guardiola? Because obviously, this stable defense that we currently have, it is kind of hindering our offense, right? So that's what it is right now. It's like, where are we at with it? I mean, Mendy's been out, right? Ake's been out. Ferner's been out. Laporte's been out. Damn, everybody's been out, bro. I feel like the only people that's really been there has been like Raheem Sterling, and even Kevin needed a break. So you know what I'm saying. And Bernardo kind of came back late. I think Gundogan's been there consistently, but he even started kind of slow. Gabriel Jesus was there, needed some time off. So the player's body just is not really going through what we really want to go through now. Let's talk about this approach. Is this approach with Guardiola some new thing that maybe there's a concentration around being more solid defensively? Because we know what has happened over the last year, with Mendy being out, Zinchenko filling that role, and even Zinchenko was out, but Jim filling that role, us not really being sound defensively, especially last year. So has Guardiola come into this year thinking like, you know what, we're going to be more structured, in our defense approach. So maybe our fullbacks don't get as far forward. And, Kyle Walker's like the man, he's a machine right now. Like, so no need to talk about him. Much praise, much love due to him. He holding it down. He doing his solid thing, but he is there consistently. So are they not just bombing forward so far? We've even seen times where Guardiola will put Cancelo over there and then they'd be able to overlap and Cancelo be playing on the left. So, we do look better defensively, but obviously let's talk about the goals, bro. Enough of the defense, bro. Let's talk about this goal situation. Let's talk about how we setting up, bro. Let's talk about, you know, we are creating chances. Like, all right, so we're not gonna lump all these things together. We're gonna talk specifically about what's going on offensively. On offense, bro, we have created chances, but there are instances where we're very wasteful as a team. So think about chances being created. They get the ball, we're in the 6 yard box, we're in the 18, but hesitation comes from either one of our wing players or somewhere that we just don't get the shot off. We turn the ball over. Those moments happen a lot. But I do feel like we are creating chances, but it's not the same Guardiola style finesse football that we have been used to over the course of the last 4 years or whatever. It doesn't feel that way because it doesn't feel as fluid. Like we haven't even seen a game this year, in my opinion, where we talking strictly about the Premier League right now. I'm not talking about the Champions League at all. Like other than the Champions League, and I think outside of Wolves, the first game at Wolves, I mean, man, starting out, bro. I remember watching the game, I was kind of nervous, like, ooh, but at the end of the match, I was like, oh, I kind of like this 3-1. Wolves had been like a pain in our butts for so long, but I mean, it was good. It was good, but then you start seeing them 1-0s, 1-0s, 1-0s. You haven't seen like a 4-0 or 5-2, Ooh, I even hate to bring 5-2 up due to Leicester, but, you know, we haven't really seen that style of sexy Guardiola style football yet. And just due down to core components, which I mentioned, is definitely injuries, not being able to do that. There's obviously some kind of mindset that we're going to be stronger defensively, and we're going to work out those situations. We have been wasteful when it comes to opportunities. Now, let's talk about those players, right? Those players, when we're creating those chances, those players we want to be able to finish those opportunities. Because if you really think about it, yes, both strikers have been out, and Guardiola chooses not to play, Liam. But Liam did get burned at one match. I don't know what it was in. I don't know if it was in a cup league or a cup game or in the Premier League. But Liam did get burned. He was looking nice, bro. And then Guardiola said, "Chill, chill, chill, bro. I don't be playing the youth. Got to deal with all of that." But at the end of the day, you know, those players that are there. Raheem Sterling's been there sound. We've had good stints with Torres going through the middle and the strikers' absences. So I just feel like, we just haven't been as clinical, with opportunities. So instead of being just wasteful or not taking a shot on or, turning the ball over, we're making bad decisions when it just comes down to that final third. And that final third is due to, well, I think lack of consistency when we're talking about those players that are going to be there. And naturally, you're going to have that because you haven't had Gabriel Jesus there or Aguero there for any time to be able to do the link up play to be with Sterling or Mahrez or Sterling and, Torres or, Bernardo and Sterling, however you choose to go about with those combinations. But you haven't had that cohesion that fluidity with those players yet because so many people have been out. And then maybe he experiments with Phil Foden on the wing. So that's the reason why it's just not flowing, in my opinion, right now. Comes back to the question, bro. What do you want to win this year? Pep, what do you want to win? Because if we want to win, let me talk about what I want to win. I want to win the Premier League. No doubt about it. No questions. No ifs, ands, or buts. Don't really care about the Champions League. Let me just be honest about that. Now, when I say I don't care, let's just be clear. I definitely want to win the Champions League, but it's not the first thing on my mind. I definitely want to win it. If City won it, oh my God, I'd be ecstatic. I'd be through the roof, everything. But that is not my prime focus. If you look at this year's Premier League, due to all of these things that are going on in the world, you know, it seems to be achievable for a lot of teams. Like you got to look at Tottenham. Tottenham's going to be saying to themselves, "Man, look, there's a slight window here. Nobody's starting out hot. It looks sloppy. Like I said, we down in 10th, bro. You ain't seen that in a minute. So we down in 10th. It's some real other stuff going on. But can we put it together and then be there in the end? We know that Liverpool's had some devastating injuries, that we never want to wish upon anybody. He's had some devastating, Liverpool's had some devastating injuries, especially VVD. VVD losing VVD is like us losing company. So, that's just not happening. But, Liverpool's not a sound. United struggling out the blocks. Arsenal's proven to be consistent. You know what I mean? Like they're just trying to develop their style, but they're kind of pragmatic and not used to the way that they have been playing football for a number of years. So everybody's adjusting right now. So I feel like there's this opportunity for us to win the Premier League. I want the Premier League. That's all I want every time, every year, every day, every week. You get the point. That's all I want. And in order for us to do that and get to the Premier League, we obviously know, like I said, injuries have gone devastated us early starting on. But we still have that game in hand. And if we can develop some consistency with our players as far as who is going to be out there on the pitch, I know Gabriel Jesus is back now, right? Sergio Aguero will be back, but he has to make a sound decision on the wing. The wings cannot be messed with all the time. It can't be just Foden and Raheem Sterling on the left, and then Mahrez, Bernardo, or Torres. It has to be some consistency. And in order for this consistency to happen, and when this consistency happens, will I see better style football? We will. We definitely will see better style football because you can't just keep messing with them all the time. Is Sterling gonna play on the left? Is he gonna play on the right? And if we make this sound decision and we say focus and let's say, yo, this is what we lining up with. 4-3-3, or we playing some 4-2-3-1. We pick a sound formation, we divvy or we pivot depending on what the match is, but getting some type of fluidity. If you look at Liverpool, what made Liverpool outstanding, other than they just got good players, bro. Like they got good players, but they are consistent, bro. They know who's playing every single week. They know what positions they are, and then they're able to bounce off one another. Right now, we need some of that stability. And I know some of it is due to injury. I think a lot of it is due to Pep Guardiola making certain decisions. And who am I to judge what Pep does? I mean, we know Pep is outstanding, but sometimes Pep needs a little bit of stability too in his system. It can't just be free flowing all the time to where it is. I don't think it always helps Phil Foden to not play in a consistent position. I think he definitely has to make a decision on what we're going to do with Silva. Is Silva going to be a midfielder this season? Is he going to be a wing player this season? Is he going to sometimes have responsibility as a false nine, right? Is he going to play that box to box role? And I'm gonna touch upon that later because that's going to transition us and pivot us to something else I want to talk about. But Guardiola has to make a sound decision. And the easy thing is goalkeeper's already set. Back four is really already set. The only pivot that you might have is Ake going to play left back sometimes? Is Mendy going to play left back sometimes? Zinchenko going to get some burn out there on the left sometime? Is it going to be Cancelo? We don't know, bro. But there ain't no way. We know three of the back four already. I don't care what nobody's saying. We know three of the back four already. So let's not pretend that, right? So that's fine. We know Rodri CDM all day, every day. So Rodri CDM, that Gundogan thing. Now, I like Gundogan, and this is why I say I like the Premier League, bro. I want to win the Premier League because that's the patch I always want to have on this hat. But other than that, I'm just a Premier League type of person. I don't really put much stock into the Champions League, probably because my heart just been broken so many times. But at the end of the day, that's what I want to win. I want to win the Premier League. So in order to do that, I recognize that Gundogan is a better Champions League player. He really is. Like if you think about Gundogan's success, you think about his leadership, his value that he brings to the team at this current moment in his career, it is really from a leadership perspective, I think. And he tends to demonstrate his leadership better on Tuesday and Wednesday, bro. On the weekend, like sometimes this, sometimes that. And that don't mean that we think he a bad player. Don't mean we talking bad about him. That's not what it is. It's just that we recognizing that. And for me as a Premier League player in that box to box role, this is gonna be tough. Is it Kevin? Is it Bernardo? What is Foden supposed to play there? You know what I'm saying? What we doing right there? That gotta be a made decision. So let's just assume that Kevin's gonna have a free role. So Kevin just takes up one of the midfield positions because he just has a free role. So then that leaves only two other positions. We know one of them is Rodri. So who is the other player, bro? Who is the other player? That's the decision Guardiola has to make. And if he wants to make the one wants us to win the Premier League, he has to make that decision soon, and it has to be a consistent decision. I don't know, and I'm gonna feel bad for whoever that is. And there are points that you could definitely rotate. Bernardo in that position, Foden in that position, Gundogan in that position, but they all just can't be done. Consistency, bro. Consistency in that position. Is it going to be Gundogan? Like, I really think Pep wants it to be Gundogan, but if it's going to be Gundogan, there are so many times this season, from what we're seeing, is that like, yo, sometimes we love the Gundogan and Roger combo. Other times, I ain't feeling this. It ain't. But that is what it is. So we know Kevin's already taken his position. We know Raheem Sterling has taken a position. And more than, about nine, 8 times out of 10, bro, is always on the left. So let's just say Raheem Sterling got his position, bro. Gabriel Jesus, Sergio Aguero, we don't have to make a decision there. Don't worry about that. We don't have to make a decision. As long as we got one of those two, we good, bro. That false nine stuff, occasionally, maybe Bernardo, maybe Foden, whatever. Who's coming on the right? Who's coming on the right? And this is what I'm saying. That not having that consistency between that other midfielder and that's right wing player, you're not able to flow and see that dynamic football for some reason this year. And I think there's another reason upon that, but which I'll touch upon in another series, I believe. But I don't think that cohesion is there now. Yes, Raheem Sterling, like I said, and Mahrez get along, and I'm pretty sure that they chill out together and all of that good stuff. But for some reason, it's not flowing right now. Do that. So then is the other person Bernardo right there? If Bernardo's right there, so what have we seen? We've been seeing Bernardo in the midfielder, which I like Bernardo as a midfielder personally. Like we talk about a David Silva replacement. Is it Phil Foden, bro? It's like, nah, Phil Foden don't have to necessarily be a David Silva replacement. He could just be one of our own and make him Phil Foden, bro. Because if anything, he's got David Silva in him, but he's similar to De Bruyne, just De Bruyne taller, bro, at this age. But if you look at Foden's game, bro, Foden got a lot of potential in his game to where he can go in that direction. But I always thought, did we get a David Silva replacement? The answer was no, because I thought that Bernardo would step into that role. But the one thing that I've noticed about Bernardo, and I think that this is Pep's thinking, and why Pep wants to really have him at that midfield position, occupying preferably that left hand side, is because he would go good in a 4-3-3, but as a winger, for some reason, and I don't understand this, and like I said, I may have said this in another video because it's definitely true. Almost cursed there, but it's definitely true. Bernardo Silva, Riyad Mahrez, neither one of them like to play on the left hand side. For some reason, it's just they can't do it. They can't do it. They can't do it. So then that forces that other position. So Guardiola is going to have to make a decision upon those two things. The Champions League, but I'm not going to even dive into that, today. You put up whatever lineup you want to put out there. The only thing I care about is do not overthink the quarterfinals. Enough said, right? So moving on from that. Next point, bro. What would happen if we did not win the Premier League this year? We didn't win the Champions League this year. All right, you want to put something on it? Play in your own mind, think of your own mind. We got to this. We got past the quarterfinals. We made it to the semifinals. You know what I mean? Like that's what we did, but we didn't win anything. How would you feel as a City fan? What is the plan if we win? Let's say a League Cup or an FA Cup. Is that enough to satisfy you as a Manchester City fan? So I ask again, Guardiola, what is your plan? I know what my plan is. And Pep, I'm not doubting you. Get no mistake about it. I just want you to focus on the Premier League. I just want you to focus on the Premier League. That's what the opportunity is. We get another one of those. That is all I want. So, but what would you do if Pep Guardiola said to himself, bro, I can only win one? Premier League, Champions League. You can't win both. Let's just get that out of there. What is the focus? And I know what makes Guardiola brilliant is that Guardiola does not think this way. He thinks that every game matters one at a time. Bill Belichick like that. You know what I mean? And I definitely get that. Don't get me wrong. But in this situation, obviously it's hypothetical. What do you want as a City fan? What do you want, Guardiola? What do the players want? I know what I want. I want the Premier League. And in order for us to do that, we're going to have to make certain changes. Champions League, like I said, do not overthink the quarterfinals. We good. What would happen? Would the pressure be on Guardiola? If we did not win Champions League, we didn't win the Premier League, we won an FA Cup and a League Cup, or one or the other. How would you feel about the season as a Manchester City fan? How would Guardiola feel about the season? Peace.